I never imagined that one seemingly ordinary afternoon would unravel the hidden layers of my past. It all began when I decided to clear out the clutter that had accumulated in the attic of my childhood home, a relic of memories and forgotten objects that had been gathering dust over the years. Among the faded photo albums and brittle letters, I discovered an old flip phone tucked away in a battered leather case. Its screen was cracked, its buttons worn from time, but something about its presence stirred an inexplicable sense of destiny. I powered it on, not expecting more than a relic of outdated technology, yet what appeared on the screen sent an electrifying shiver down my spine. A digital call log, long hidden from my eyes, filled the screen. The entries were meticulous and precise, each one marking a specific date and time. As I scrolled, I was struck by a recurring pattern: numerous calls and messages that referenced hotel reservations and dinner dates at high-end establishments, details that I couldn't possibly recall authorizing. The names of hotels like the Regency Palace and Hotel Veritas glimmered in the log, interspersed with cryptic annotations like Table for Two at Le Jardin and reservation codes that I couldn't decipher. What was most baffling was the consistent presence of an unknown number, a number that seemed to be associated with lavish dates, elegant banquets, and nights filled with opulent mystery. My heart pounded as I began to wonder, had I led a double life and forgotten the escapades of my youth? Or was someone else using my phone, a phone that I believed had been abandoned, to orchestrate clandestine rendezvous under my name? I felt a mix of emotions: betrayal, curiosity, and an almost desperate need for answers. With trembling fingers, I documented the entries, each one etched into my memory as a breadcrumb in a maze that I was suddenly compelled to solve. In the following days, I became consumed by the mystery. I combed through old diaries, photographs, and even emails, hoping to find a trace of a hidden life that might explain the extravagant calls. I recalled vague memories of lonely nights, of yearning for connection during a time when I felt completely invisible. Could it be that in my darkest hours, I had reached out for solace and instead found a secret escape, a world where I was more than just a faceless individual living through monotonous routines? Or, more disconcertingly, was someone else using my identity to lead a life of luxury and intrigue? One crisp autumn evening, determined to confront the enigma head-on, I made my way to one of the hotels listed in the call log, the Regency Palace. Its grand facade loomed before me, a monument to timeless elegance and discreet service. I stepped inside and approached the reception desk, my voice barely concealing the uncertainty that churned within me. "Good evening," I began. "I'm trying to confirm a reservation that was made under a name very similar to mine." The receptionist's eyes flickered with a hint of caution as she searched the system. "I'm sorry, but I don't see any recent reservation matching that description," she replied softly. When I insisted on checking past records, she hesitated, then whispered, "There was a reservation, but the name was slightly different. It's almost as if someone altered it on purpose." Her tone was cryptic, and it only deepened my resolve to uncover the truth. Haunted by the receptionist's words, I began a personal investigation into the hidden call log. I visited several of the establishments listed: lavish restaurants, upscale hotels, and exclusive lounges that catered to a discerning clientele. Each place was a universe unto itself, exuding an air of mystery and refined decadence. At Le Jardin, a renowned fine dining establishment known for its candlelit ambience and exquisite cuisine, I met a longtime waiter who recalled a mysterious guest. He was always impeccably dressed, gentlemanly, with an aura of quiet confidence, the waiter confided, his voice low. He'd arrive on his own, never make a fuss, yet his presence lit up the room. I pressed for a name, but the waiter only smiled enigmatically and said, "I'm afraid some secrets are best kept hidden." The puzzle deepened when I began receiving unexpected phone calls. Late at night, when the city was wrapped in silence, my phone would buzz with unknown numbers. Once, I answered, and a calm, measured voice said, "You deserve to know the truth behind those logs. Meet me at the corner of Bellamy and 3rd at 10 p.m. Come alone." I hesitated, heart racing with both apprehension and excitement. Was this the unknown man whose lavish dates were recorded, or was it someone trying to guide me? I decided to take a chance, driven by a mixture of fear and desperate longing for clarity. At exactly 10 p.m., under a moon that hung heavy in the sky, I found myself waiting at the designated intersection. The street was empty, save for the flickering neon of a distant diner and the rustle of leaves in the gentle wind. Moments later, a sleek black sedan pulled up silently. The driver's window rolled down, revealing a pair of eyes that seemed to hold all the answers and yet left even more questions. "Are you ready to uncover what lies beneath?" the voice asked, as the man stepped out, his silhouette sharp against the urban glow. I recognized nothing familiar in his face, only the profound intensity of someone who had seen both darkness and beauty in equal measure. "Call me Adrian," he said softly, offering his hand. His introduction was measured and sincere, and though I was wary, something in his tone reassured me. Over the next few hours, as we walked along quiet, rain-slicked sidewalks and found refuge in a small, discreet cafe, Adrian began to unravel a tale that was as astonishing as it was heart-wrenching. He spoke of a secret service he had once managed, a covert operation that catered to individuals who longed to experience life beyond the mundane. It was a service that arranged clandestine hotel stays and exclusive dinners for those who felt trapped in the ordinary, a way to inject passion and mystery into lives that had become painfully predictable. Adrian's story was layered with intrigue. He explained that many of his clients were individuals who, like me, had felt invisible, their inner desires suppressed by the weight of routine. "Sometimes," he said, "the system takes over, and you forget that there's a part of you that craves indulgence, adventure, even danger." I wanted to give them that escape, a taste of a life that was both luxurious and liberating. His words resonated with me, stirring memories of nights spent staring at the ceiling, yearning for a spark of excitement, a break from the relentless monotony of my existence. As the evening deepened, Adrian revealed that he had recognized something familiar in me, a flicker of the dreamer I once was. He confessed that when he first saw the call log on my old phone, he immediately thought of reaching out. "I never intended to hurt you or steal your identity," he insisted, "but rather to offer you an opportunity to reclaim a part of yourself that has been dormant for far too long." His voice, laden with both regret and hope, painted a picture of a life where secrecy and desire intertwined, where each encounter was meticulously designed to awaken a sense of wonder and passion. My mind raced as I tried to process his words. The idea that I might have been unwittingly enrolled in a secret program, one that arranged sumptuous dinners and hidden escapes, was both exhilarating and terrifying. I questioned whether the memories of lonely nights and fleeting moments of beauty were genuine experiences or if they had been artfully constructed by a service meant to rescue me from my own despair. Did I even choose this? I asked, voice trembling with uncertainty. Adrian's response was gentle yet firm. "In many ways, yes. We often make choices without realizing the magnitude of their impact. Perhaps your longing for something more was so profound that you subconsciously reached out to the universe, and fate answered in the form of these secret reservations." We lingered in that dimly lit cafe for hours, sharing fragments of our pasts, our hopes, and the bittersweet memories that had led us to this moment. I began to see that my life, once shrouded in self-doubt and routine, was slowly transforming into something richer, more layered. Yet, even as I felt a cautious thrill at the prospect of rediscovery, a lingering question gnawed at me. What would become of the secret I had unwittingly carried all these years? Could I ever fully embrace this double-edged gift of luxury and mystery, or was it a fleeting escape destined to vanish at the break of dawn? As our conversation drew to a natural pause, Adrian left me with a final, cryptic message. "There is more to learn, and soon, you will see that every secret has a way of revealing itself in time." I watched him disappear into the misty night, his silhouette merging with the shadows, leaving me alone with my thoughts and the heavy, tantalizing promise of what was to come. Returning home that night, I lay awake for hours, replaying every detail of the evening like a cherished film. The call log, the hidden reservations, the sumptuous dinners, and Adrian's gentle insistence that I was meant for something extraordinary. All these elements wove together in my mind to form a tapestry of wonder, confusion, and an undercurrent of pain. I realized that the mystery was far from solved. In fact, it had only just begun to unfold, leaving me on the precipice of a journey that promised to redefine my understanding of love, identity, and the true meaning of escape. Before I drifted off to an uneasy sleep, I scribbled a few lines in my journal, a desperate attempt to capture the raw emotions surging within me. I wrote about the conflicting sensations of betrayal and hope, the surreal quality of a life that might have been secretly orchestrated, and the overwhelming need to find the truth behind every call, every reservation, every whispered promise. In that quiet moment, with the city's distant hum as my lullaby, I vowed that tomorrow, I would start piecing together the fragments of a life I never knew I'd lived. And so, as dawn crept over the horizon and the first pale light touched my window, I awoke with a new determination. The hidden call log was more than just a record of secret hotel reservations and lavish dinner dates. It was a mirror reflecting the parts of me that I had long suppressed. It beckoned me to step into a narrative filled with both exquisite luxury and painful honesty. I knew that I was standing at the threshold of a profound transformation, one that would force me to confront the delicate interplay of desire, deception, and destiny. At that moment, I realized that the truth, however elusive it might be, was worth pursuing. I resolved to follow the clues, to embrace the uncertainty, and to let the journey guide me toward a deeper understanding of who I was and who I could become. The mysterious world that Adrian hinted at, the world of secret escapes and clandestine rendezvous, had already begun to change me. With a cautious hope in my heart and a mind buzzing with unanswered questions, I set forth on the path that lay ahead, aware that every step would lead me closer to unraveling the enigma of my own hidden past. After that fateful night, I spent a restless week oscillating between disbelief and an insatiable need for answers. Every morning, I awoke with the echoes of Adrian's parting words ringing in my ears. There is more to learn, and soon, you will see that every secret has a way of revealing itself in time. The questions, once mere whispers in my mind, had grown into an overwhelming clamor. Who was I, really? Had I truly been a passive participant in this clandestine world, or had I subconsciously orchestrated my own escape from a life weighed down by monotony and sorrow? I resolved to follow the clues Adrian had left me and immerse myself completely in this unexpected journey. I began by retracing the steps we had taken together during that rainy night. The city, which had always seemed familiar, now revealed hidden nooks and crannies that pulsed with secrets. I found myself returning to the discreet cafe where Adrian and I had talked for hours. There, amidst the murmurs of other late-night patrons and the soft clink of porcelain cups, I struck up conversations with the staff. I needed to know if others had witnessed the enigmatic man who had so thoroughly disrupted my ordered life. The bartender, a middle-aged man with kind eyes and a quiet demeanor, recalled the mysterious guest with an almost reverent tone. He had a way about him, the bartender said slowly, polishing a glass with methodical care. Every time he walked in, the room seemed to shift. Not just in temperature, but in spirit. It was as if his presence was a challenge to all of us to remember there's more to life than what meets the eye. His words, though vague, resonated deeply within me. I was beginning to suspect that Adrian's secret world was far larger than a series of elegant dinners and plush hotel rooms. It was a realm where people, desperate for meaning, allowed themselves to be swept away by carefully crafted moments of beauty and intimacy. Compelled by this notion, I began frequenting places that Adrian had hinted at. I revisited Le Jardin and even took an impromptu trip to Hotel Veritas, another establishment prominently featured in the call log. In each location, I observed a pattern, a subtle interplay between anonymity and revelation. At Hotel Veritas, I requested to see archived reservations under both my name and the altered variation that the receptionist had mentioned. The manager, an elegant woman with silver hair and a steady gaze, sighed as she led me to a private office. There are always discrepancies in the records, she explained, sliding a file across the desk. A few months ago, a series of reservations were made under a name very similar to yours. We suspected a clerical error, but later discovered that they were intentionally modified. It's not the first time we've encountered something unusual. Her choice of words, unusual, made my pulse quicken. It confirmed that the phenomenon wasn't isolated to me. Someone, somewhere, was weaving an intricate tapestry of deception and desire. Determined to uncover the truth behind these anomalies, I spent long evenings poring over my old diaries and emails. I started noticing fragments of memories that I had long suppressed. There were nights when I would receive mysterious phone calls, moments when I felt inexplicably buoyant despite the crushing weight of loneliness. It was as if my subconscious had been yearning for an escape long before I ever realized it consciously. The more I dug, the more I began to suspect that the secret call log had been a manifestation of my deepest, unspoken desires, a part of me that had once dreamed of living a life full of passion, mystery, and luxury. One particularly brisk evening, as I was returning from a late stroll through the neon-lit back alleys of the city, my phone vibrated again. The screen lit up with a single message: "Meet me at the Crescent Bridge at midnight. I have something that will answer your questions." The message was unsigned, but the style was unmistakably similar to Adrian's previous note. My heart pounded with a mix of anticipation and trepidation. I couldn't tell if this was a test, a lure, or a genuine offer of further revelations. However, the lure of understanding the full scope of the hidden life my call log had hinted at was too strong to resist. That night, dressed in a nondescript black jacket and jeans, I made my way to the Crescent Bridge. The bridge was an architectural marvel, a graceful arc spanning the river, its structure illuminated by delicate, ambient lighting. Underneath, the water shimmered with reflections of the city's bright skyline, while the silence of the night imbued the space with an almost sacred quality. I found a secluded bench beneath one of the ornate lampposts, the chilly wind whispering secrets that mirrored the one I was about to uncover. Minutes later, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was not Adrian, but rather a tall, lean man with an air of quiet authority. His eyes, reflecting the cool blue of the night, held an intensity that made me both wary and curious. "I presume you're the one looking for answers," he said in a measured tone, his voice a blend of reassurance and challenge. I nodded cautiously. "And you are?" I asked, trying to steady my voice. "Call me Marcus," he replied. "I was once a part of what you're now discovering, a collective that believed in the transformative power of orchestrated escapes. Adrian was just one messenger of that world. There's so much more to this than lavish dinners and secret hotel reservations." Marcus's words struck a chord within me. He continued, explaining that there was a discrete network, an underground society, if you will, composed of individuals from all walks of life who believed that a carefully curated experience could awaken dormant parts of the soul. "We call it the Elysian Protocol," he said, his tone both proud and solemn. "It was created by those who refused to let life become mundane. Every reservation, every dinner, every clandestine meeting was part of a grand design to restore passion and creativity in those who had lost their way." His eyes bore into mine as he spoke, as if searching for a spark of recognition or remorse. The idea was almost too fantastical to believe. A secret society that orchestrated escapes and luxurious encounters for people who felt invisible, who longed for a taste of the extraordinary. It was something out of a novel. And yet, here I was, confronted by Marcus on a moonlit bridge, his every word steeped in conviction. "Why me?" I asked, the question trembling on my lips. "Why did your system choose me?" Marcus paused, as though weighing the complexity of his answer. "Sometimes," he began slowly, "the universe calls out to us in ways we cannot comprehend until we're ready to listen. You were at a crossroads, a time when despair threatened to overwhelm you, and yet, somewhere deep down, a part of you refused to surrender to the ordinary. We recognized that spark, and we gave you the opportunity to reclaim it. You may not have been aware of it, but you were already reaching out, yearning for a change. We simply provided the stage for you to see it." His explanation stirred conflicting emotions in me, a cocktail of gratitude, guilt, and a growing determination to uncover every hidden truth. Marcus offered to introduce me to others within the network, promising that by connecting with them, I could understand the full extent of what had been orchestrated on my behalf. The notion both frightened and fascinated me. Could it be that my life had been subtly engineered by forces I'd never known existed? Was the call log merely a byproduct of a grander design, one that sought to heal me from the inside out? Over the following weeks, Marcus became my reluctant guide into this shadowy world. He introduced me to discreet gatherings held in repurposed warehouses, hidden gardens, and even quiet rooftop lounges. In each meeting, I encountered individuals whose lives bore the scars of missed opportunities and unfulfilled dreams, yet who had found solace and renewal in the orchestrated escapes. There was Elena, a once successful pianist whose career had been derailed by personal tragedy, James, a corporate titan who had abandoned his empire in search of meaning, and several others who, like me, had been coaxed out of their numb routines by the promise of a fleeting, yet transformative, experience. One evening, at a clandestine dinner held in a refurbished art gallery, I finally allowed myself to confront the duality of my existence. Seated at a long table adorned with flickering candles and intricate floral arrangements, I listened to the stories of those around me. Each narrative was a blend of pain and beauty, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit when faced with the numbing effect of routine. As the evening wore on, the conversation turned toward Adrian, the enigmatic figure who had first introduced me to this covert world. I asked, did Adrian ever say why he did it? What drove him to orchestrate these escapes? An older gentleman, his eyes twinkling with the wisdom of many lived lives, leaned forward. Adrian believed in the transformative power of reinvention, he said softly. He saw our lives as canvases waiting to be painted with experiences. For some, routine becomes a prison. He wanted to unlock those doors, if only for a night, so that you might remember what it means to truly live. His words resonated with me, igniting a flame of both hope and melancholy. It was then that I began to understand that my journey was not solely about unraveling a mystery, it was about reclaiming parts of myself that had been buried beneath the weight of everyday existence. Emboldened by this newfound perspective, I started to document my experiences in meticulous detail. Each lavish dinner, every secret reservation, became chapters in a narrative that I felt compelled to understand. I wrote down my conversations, my internal conflicts, and the subtle shifts in my perceptions. With every entry, I was piecing together the puzzle of my past, the carefully arranged moments that had unexpectedly steered me toward self-discovery. Yet, as I delved deeper, I couldn't shake the nagging thought that not everything was as benevolent as it seemed. There were whispers among the group of a darker side to the Elysian Protocol, a side that exploited the vulnerable in their desperation for escape. I began to hear murmurs of a clandestine figure who had used the system to manipulate others, weaving deceit among genuine acts of liberation. I confronted Marcus about these rumors, but he brushed them off with a weary sigh. In every grand design, there are those who try to twist the purpose for their own gain, he explained. But trust that our core mission was always to bring light into lives that had lost their way. I wanted to believe him, yet the seed of doubt had been planted. My mind churned with questions. Was I merely a pawn in a larger game? Had my suffering been commodified by those who claimed to offer salvation? Despite the doubts, I could not deny the profound transformation that had taken root within me. My nights were no longer spent in isolation. Instead, I reveled in the rich tapestry of experiences that had rekindled my passion for life. One pivotal night, a month after my first encounter with Marcus, I received another message on my old flip phone, a relic that had become the symbol of my secret journey. The message was brief and enigmatic. Tonight, at the Meridian Lounge, the final piece awaits. My heart pounded as I recalled fragments of conversations hinting at a culminating event, a moment when the true purpose of these orchestrated escapes would be revealed. The Meridian Lounge was known only to a few, a secluded venue hidden in a maze of city streets, a place where the opulent met the avant-garde. With a mix of trepidation and determination, I prepared for that night as I had never prepared for any night before. I chose an outfit that balanced elegance with understated rebellion, a tailored blazer over a soft silk blouse, dark trousers that hinted at quiet confidence, and a pair of boots that carried the promise of uncharted paths. As I stepped out into the cool night air, I felt as though I were walking into a dream, one woven from the delicate threads of hope and regret. At the Meridian Lounge, the atmosphere was electric yet intimate. Soft ambient music flowed through the air, intermingling with the murmurs of guests who moved with a grace that seemed both practiced and spontaneous. I scanned the room for any sign of the orchestrators of my secret journey. Then, in a quiet corner beneath an intricately carved wooden arch, I spotted him, Adrian. He sat alone, his eyes fixed on a small table as though pondering the mysteries of the universe. His presence was magnetic, and for a moment, time seemed to slow as our eyes met. Adrian beckoned me over with a subtle nod, and as I approached, the room around us blurred into insignificance. "I've been waiting for you," he said softly, his voice carrying the weight of countless untold stories. "Tonight is the night you learn everything." I hesitated for only a heartbeat before sitting down opposite him, ready to absorb every word he had to offer. The conversation that ensued was both a confession and a revelation, a tapestry of memories that spanned years, detailing the origins of the Elysian Protocol, the motivations behind its creation, and the personal demons each of its members had faced. Adrian revealed that he had once been like me, burdened by a life that seemed predetermined, shackled by routine and regret. His own descent into darkness had been halted only when he discovered that even the most painful realities could be reframed as opportunities for rebirth. Every call, every reservation, every dinner, he explained, was a deliberate attempt to break free from the inertia of existence, to create moments that defy the ordinary. His words resonated as he spoke of his own journey of transformation, of the countless souls he had helped guide toward rediscovering their inner light. That night, as I listened to Adrian's account, a profound shift occurred within me. I realized that the hidden call log was not a tool of manipulation, but a mirror reflecting the desires I had long denied. The lavish dinners, the secret hotel reservations, they were symbols of a life that yearned for beauty, passion, and authenticity. In that moment of raw vulnerability, I understood that the true mystery was not the identity of the unknown man, but the hidden potential that lay dormant within me. As the hours passed and the first hints of dawn crept in, I felt a bittersweet mixture of relief and uncertainty. The final piece of the puzzle, as promised by the Meridian Lounge invitation, was not an answer to every question but a doorway to a new chapter, a life where I would no longer be defined by the mundane, but by the richness of experience and the courage to embrace the unknown. Adrian handed me a small, leather-bound journal. "Write your story," he urged gently. "Let every secret, every memory, every moment of escape guide you toward who you are meant to be." I left the Meridian Lounge that night with the journal clutched tightly in my hand and a heart full of both hope and the lingering pain of past regrets. The secret call log had unlocked more than just a series of hidden reservations. It had shattered the illusion that my life was predetermined and ordinary. Instead, it had revealed that within me lay an unquenchable desire for transformation, a desire that, when acknowledged, could reshape every facet of my existence. In the days that followed, I began to chronicle every detail of my journey in that journal. I wrote about the clandestine meetings, the whispered conversations in dimly lit corridors, and the subtle ways in which my perspective on life had shifted. Each word was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and a promise that I would no longer allow fear to dictate the course of my days. I became an active participant in the Elysian Protocol, seeking out opportunities to reconnect with the raw, unfiltered essence of life. Yet, even as I embraced this new existence, I was acutely aware that the mystery was not fully resolved. Adrian and Marcus, along with the network of individuals who had chosen to live beyond the confines of routine, had given me a glimpse of a hidden world. But there remained unanswered questions. How many others had received similar clandestine invitations? What was the ultimate goal of this elaborate system? And perhaps most haunting of all, was there a price to pay for awakening from a life of quiet submission? Every evening, as I lay in bed with the journal on my bedside table, I would read over the entries of that transformative period. I found solace in the fact that even if some mysteries never reached a definitive conclusion, the journey itself was a reward, a living, breathing reminder that life is as much about the questions as it is about the answers. In embracing the uncertainty, I discovered a freedom that transcended the bounds of ordinary existence. I learned to trust in the possibility that every secret, no matter how deeply hidden, was an invitation to evolve, to love, and to live with passion. And so, as I continued to write my story, each chapter a blend of pain, beauty, and the indomitable will to be free, I realized that the hidden call log was merely the catalyst for a profound personal revolution. It forced me to confront my deepest fears, to challenge the assumptions I had built my life upon, and to step into a realm where the extraordinary was not the exception, but the norm. With each passing day, I see fragments of the past interwoven with the promise of the future. I carry with me the memories of secret hotel reservations and lavish dinners, not as burdens of deception, but as symbols of the night I chose to awaken from a life of quiet despair. I now understand that every meticulously recorded call was a silent plea, a plea to remember that even in our darkest moments, there is light waiting to be found. As the final light of dawn broke over the city, I closed my journal and stepped out into a world that, though still cloaked in mystery, no longer felt foreign. I was ready to embrace every secret encounter, every whispered promise, knowing that the path to authenticity is paved with both shadows and illumination. The journey is far from over, and with a heart now open to the endless possibilities, I prepare to write the next chapter, a chapter that will carry forward the legacy of the hidden call log and the transformative power of rediscovered passion.